Sneak peek on the track.
Many fantasies are being transformed into reality by modern science.
What's going on with you, everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. Let me know if you're in the building and you can see this flying. Let me know if you can hear everything and it's in order. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me see the hearts and the likes in the chat while I fix this view. I do apologize. I don't know what's going on with me, man. And so you see, this is what happens every time I'm feeling it. Let's get some music going. This is what happens every time I'm feeling just a little nervous. Miss a couple steps, do a couple things, and it's just like rough. What's going on with you, everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. This is your boy Conrad up in the place to be, and you know what it is. It is time for the Real podcast, where we are real people having real conversations about real things, and you know how it's gonna go. Hold on, let me get myself situated. Give me 1 second. Let me get myself situated, because I'm sitting here and I'm leaning sideways and everything feels off kilter, and I'm just like, bruv, I can't deal. Everything feels so far away from home. Feels so far away. Okay. I think I'm feeling better. I think so. So, as everybody comes into the building, I don't know where this show is going to take us tonight. We be chilling tonight. We ain't got a script. We ain't got much of a topic. You guys can see it, that this is about the one LeBron, Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and LeBron Ramon James. Who's the GOAT? Talk to me. Who's the GOAT? Who do you think is the GOAT? We seen Sister Shirley up earlier. We posted her comments and showing that, okay, yeah, she was definitely thinking that, okay, you know what I mean? MJ is the GOAT. So we have so far one for MJ. So, you know what I mean? We gonna have to slide a little bit and see if we can't make sure. I'm gonna put a poll up shortly, and don't worry, we're gonna get into the regular YouTube stuff. Hope everybody's doing well. As you come in the building tonight, make sure you put your name in the comment, where you're from, what's your name, where you're from, where are you heading to, where are you going. So much things going on in the world today. We thank God that we are here. We are blessed. We are highly favored. And I'm just so glad for each and every single one of you, because there's some big things happening. And you know what? It's been a lot of work. And with that work comes a little bit of anxiety, comes a little bit of stress. But you know what? Every once in a while, you need some time off. And everybody's got to know that you need some time off. If you're in the building, hold on. Okay, this is still loading. I think it's still loading. Yep, it's still loading. I'm trying to get this poll up, everybody. I apologize. Make sure when you come in, you hit the like, share, and subscribe. Again, this is your boy Conrad on the Real podcast, and we are real people having real conversations about real things. As we go through tonight, we are going to be having a discussion about whether or not LeBron James has a case for the GOAT. Now, I ain't going front with y'all. He could. He very well could have a case for the GOAT. He really could. He really could have a case for the GOAT, right? He could. But I will go on to say it like this. There are some things lacking in his resume. And as we discuss it tonight, there's a whole bunch of things going on. I know I don't want to throw this away too fast and give it away too fast, but you know, our partners are in the building and they're live tonight, the QOC and the Dirty Pleasure Talk. And they are holding it down on the other side of YouTube tonight. I know it's been a long week for a lot of people. So I don't know where tonight's show could end us. This could be just me by myself. Right now, it looks like it just might be that way. So, hey man, it is what it is. We gonna get to it. And there ain't nothing but to do it. Wherever you are, whenever you see this, definitely make sure that you like and subscribe. You can find us on all platforms. You can find us on Twitch. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Twitter, also known as X. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram. I'm pretty sure I already said TikTok already, but you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. And you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Locals. You can find us on Rumble. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us wherever whatever your choice of platform is, whatever time of day it is. Make sure you're tuning in to us and showing us that love, as we definitely love and appreciate everything that you've done for this platform, especially going through in this season and in this time. And so without further ado, you can find us at areReal_SCE. Again, that is at areReal_SCE. That's DAREALREEL_SCE. Definitely make sure you look us up. We can be found on all platforms. And you know what? If it's me by myself tonight and we're just doing this as a recording, I might take this whole who's the GOAT in a different light. And I'm going to take it. I probably might take it from two aspects, right? What drives greatness? And, you know, how do we feel about that? Right? You know, there's a lot of times where when it comes down to this LeBron James and Michael Jordan talk about who's the GOAT, it comes down to a matter of people wondering, does LeBron's stats make him, does that level him out in the GOAT conversation? And I'm not going to say it does, but I'm also not going to say it doesn't. You feel me? And so that's just one thing I want you guys to understand, is that I'll definitely give LeBron his dues. I mean, you know, just from the player that he is and what he's been able to accomplish, the level of we can say in some way or fashion or another, the level of consistency, he's definitely been there, and it's appreciated. And so with that, we want to make sure that we give the man his dues, especially before he retires. So we are not against giving LeBron his dues. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to level out, find a proper level for this background music as we go. And y'all let me know in the chat if this background music is at a decent level, if my mic is all right. I definitely want to make sure I'm hearing from you, but I'm not too loud, because what it sounds like over here definitely that can be definitely different. But y'all give yourselves a round of applause. Definitely, we are thankful and appreciative of y'all being in the building. Again, I am your host, Conrad, and this is the areReal podcast, where we are real people having real conversations about real things. And so, as we are going forward at this time, we're not going to do the one hit quitter today. There's too much to get into regarding this debate. And like I said, whether I'm up here by myself or some people come in the building and are nice enough to join us, we thank God for everybody that is on this side of the platform, and wherever they may be getting through their work week or however they decided to go about their business, we thank God for them. And I guess the one thing I can say I wish is that guys, sorry, I'm navigating technology as we go. I'm gonna test something out for a minute. Okay, so all right, technology is working. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So I'm gonna get off this. We're gonna close this. And you know what? You guys, I don't actually always get a time and a chance to do this. So this and it's not a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing at all. What I would definitely say is I think I'm definitely wanted to make sure that I had things going in. As we get through, before we say anything else, before we do anything else, let's make sure we pray and thank God for our day. All right. Lord God, Heavenly Father, we want to give you praise. We want to give you glory. We want to give you honor for bringing us through our day. Thank you for being merciful unto us, because we are not perfect. And some of the things we thought today are not conducive to your will nor your glory in our life. But God, we thank you for being merciful. We thank you for being true to your word. We thank you for being a man that not a man that you should lie. As we go forward tonight, let this conversation be edifying, but let it be enjoyable. Let it be peaceful for somebody. Let it be relaxing for somebody. Let it help. We pray that their minds would be able to release from the tension and the stress that they have faced. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. Yeah, man. So it's just like this whole GOAT conversation, as we look at it and as we seek to, I don't know if I want to say gain some bearing of understanding, but definitely it's a debate nonetheless that can take you in a plethora of directions, right? And some people started out from the aspect of some people's say word. Stan's in the building. Stan said, good morning, brother. Salute to you. Much peace and love. Thank you for being here tonight or this morning as you're just getting up. Stan is definitely one brother that we definitely appreciate. We love. So yeah, as we talk about LeBron James and Michael Jordan, definitely two different guys, we can say maybe have the same goal, right? And that's to be the best at what they do within the context of basketball. So I would assume they would want to be great fathers and great husbands as well. And they've done everything to make sure that they can do that. But when it comes down to just straight basketball talk, there's some differences behind them. And the reason why this is up for debate specifically because, after the 2016 championship, LeBron said when they beat the 72, what was it, 72 and whatever, not 72 and 10 or 73 and 9 Warriors, LeBron said, I feel like, that one made me the greatest. And I could understand what he's talking about. Like, I could definitely understand what he means, right? But the thing here's my thing about that, right? While you were getting your third, and at the same age, when they run the stats, they show that, okay, we got 2 for MJ's the GOAT tonight. I'm keeping score mentally, so yeah, we got it. 2 for MJ the GOAT. When you look at it, right, when the Cavs won that ring in 2016, right, they're both about, LeBron and Jordan were both about the same age. I think it was 33 as far as the stats go back. And it's kind of cool because this is, I believe, either right before Jordan retired or right after he retired, one of the two. He came back for that third one. I'd have to check the facts on that. MJ built a team, LeBron built himself. I can agree to that. However, I think they approached building a team in two different facets. But I'll give you guys my theories on it, and whether anybody comes up or not, that's completely fine. I'm cool, but I'll give you guys my theories on it based on what I see between the two different characteristics of Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Because the fact of the matter is this, is when you get to, sorry, y'all, I'm trying real hard to get comfortable right now. And I'm also trying not to hit no plugs or nothing. So anyways, chill, my guy, chill. My man said even Space Jam 2 movie was about LeBron. That's why the first Space Jam was a classic. Yeah, no, facts. And we're definitely gonna get into that, man. I wasn't gonna leave that alone at all. But yeah, you know what? Let's start there. Well, actually, no, I don't want to start there. From the aspect of just championships alone, everything that Michael did, Michael went out about it in a different way. Right? Michael had a different swag. He had a different mindset. And here is something that we all must admit, especially to all of those of us that are in the late 30s or 30s to 40s category and older. We like how Michael went to work when Michael went to work. We got to admit that. And I'm going to tell the truth. We let's look at the individual persons. Michael Jordan, 6'6", 220. You know what I mean? He never looked too built, but he never looked too weak in terms of his frame. Okay? So Michael was, and I think it was, I can't remember if it was Magic that used to say this or Isaiah, that in terms of aesthetics, Michael Jordan had the perfect his aesthetics in his body and his shape and his posture. Everything about him was excellently put together, right? And so he had the perfect aesthetics, that 6'6", 220, 6'11" wingspan, big hands, paws, and as for that, was able to really send an impact on the game. But it's his mindset. And this is one thing I'm going to get into as we go on a little bit, and we're going to talk about tonight. And this is why, the one-headed quit is on pause for tonight. We've done the prayer. We've done the intro stuff. We got Stan in the building. We got the real clips in the building. And so we going forward. But it's the mindset. That's the first place we got to start with these guys. And to understand the mindset, you actually have to go backwards into a key talking point within our space today. The effects of a father or a complete home versus the effects of a single mother home. both were taught that they have to seize the opportunity, but both were taught it from two completely different angles. Michael's father taught him, and you know, in him competing with his brothers in Carolina, and you know, growing up there, as much as his dad was Michael Jordan's dad was a hard-nosed dad, very hardworking, and for that, you know, decade time and space in the 70s going into the 80s, you know, they lived what was known for that time as a middle class life. So Michael never really wanted for nothing, but just because he didn't want for nothing, his dad wasn't about to let him think that he could just, you know, skate his way. No, Michael's dad let him know that he had to build his stuff. So if we understand the story of Michael Jordan, to go backwards, you know, competing against his brothers to even just to have a stake within the house. Michael even said it, you know, constantly doing things to fight for his dad's approval. And so with that, it's you got to understand that it's deep. Never thought about it that way. Yeah, man. When it comes to greatness, we're all chasing greatness to a degree, right? Or we have at one point, but there's a nucleus for greatness. And I do believe that you might not be able to ever be taught greatness. Like, nobody can teach you how to be great. But there is something along your teachings and your foundational principles and morals that helps to unlock, coupled with your drive, coupled with your discipline and your focus, it helps to push you into greatness. And we're going to get into something. I don't want to touch on this too directly because I want to get to it later. But yeah, everything about Michael Jordan's home was a prove it. Just because we have it doesn't mean you earned it. You got to prove that you belong here. Could you imagine that? You brought up in a, you know, you put yourself mentally. I want y'all to think about this. Put yourself mentally back in the place where you are, you know, just ending your quote unquote adolescence, you know, 11 through 12, 11 through 13, you know, you getting about to get out of, you know, public school in a junior high, and then you're going on to high school. And this is one thing that I wish I could have experienced about the States, because, you know, when they talk about you building a career, they don't just talk about what you did collegiately at the college university level or the semi-pros or the minor leagues. Your career starts from high school, especially if you're focused and you're notable. And so Michael, you know, involved in sports, what did his parents say? Both his mom and his dad said we wanted to teach him structure. And we wanted something that could match our same principles that we were building at home. We wanted something to reflect that outside of home. He has to know how to play with people other than his brothers. And I think these are valuable lessons. If we look at Mr. and Mrs. Jordan, look at what they said. We provided our kids an atmosphere where they understand discipline, they understand hard work, they understand what it is to separate themselves from the pack, to make sure that they are noticed, and not just noticed, but they have to be also recognized and acknowledged. And when you look at it, they go a step further to say, okay, you're comfortable with doing that at home. Now we got to get you into a place where you're able to do that out in the world, because you got to understand how to work with people, but you got to understand how to analyze your competition. And if so be it, step on your competition to get to where you need to go. Not so much that you would, have vitriol against them, but no, you would definitely let them know that, you know, I'm just as good, if not better than you, and you're in my way. So you can either get down or you can lay down. You can pick a choice. And so oftentimes people, you know, especially as the generations have proceeded, our generation has gotten away from that because too many people were, or maybe there was a few stepping on a lot of people and people didn't like it. But whatever that is, that was what Michael's taught. Now let's peer over to LeBron. And this is not a knock against his mother. It is what it was, right? Struggling single mother, right? Raising this kid, and in raising him, trying to do the best that she could to put a roof over his head. They moved a lot. What a kid, and I've said this before in a private conversation with Stan, and I guess this is the first time I'll say it publicly. And it's not a problem with single motherhood, but we've got to realize the impact of a single parent of overall, because even while fathers statistically, especially black fathers, seem to have a better footing where discipline and structure is concerned, and kids, it's been noted that kids have a tendency to do better in a single parent home that is led by a man. The aspect and the result is this: we can never account, and the stats don't account for emotional impact. And so when you have kids, or one kid or many kids that are in a situation where they are with a single parent, regardless of man and woman, they learn an dare I say, an intangible trait, an unwritten trait. And that intangible unwritten trait is how to be a taker. You might say, Conrad, what do you mean how to be a taker? Well, let's look at this, right? Proverbially speaking, or peradventure, I should say, the single parent may be in a situation where they've got to take what they can get. Man or woman, it is not the norm for that individual person to be highly achieved, highly successful at the moment when their kids are the youngest. Oftentimes, there is some struggle. Men lean to discipline because that's what helps to shape us, or should help to shape us. Whereas women will more lean to, I've got to get the job done and I've got to do it now. So that way, when I lay down at the end of the day, the bills are paid, the door is locked, there's lights on, there's some food in the fridge, and I'm going to take what I can get for today, and I'm going to live to fight another day. I'm going to live for tomorrow. And likewise, the average single father may be in the same situation. And so we learn, and I'm speaking from firsthand knowledge and from firsthand experience as the son of a single mother, you learn to be a taker more than you learn to be a builder. You learn to be a taker more than you learn to even share with others. You can go to school and you can have great friends, but you still have an intangible narcissistic trait that's being built up in you to be a taker. You take what you want, you take how you can get it, good or bad, whether you're a thief or you just go out and do everything the right way. And so if you look at LeBron, yes, and the documentary More Than a Game, it's there, it canonizes LeBron's struggles and trials as a single kid. He goes to live with his coach for a little bit. It's going up through the AAU ranks. They end up switching high schools, going to St. Mary's, and for all intents and purposes, the right crew, they become superstars. Yes, Stan, there's survival mode. And I want you to see that, because survival mode, oh man, I shout out to my sister Brittany. I'm gonna be over on her platform tomorrow. That's the topic we're gonna be talking about, survival mode. So this is very impactful to what is going on, and we got to understand how we can help young men and young women get out of this mentality where they're always in survival mode, because it will impact the type of relationships that they can have going forward. And we've got to understand that that's not always a good thing, to be stuck mentally or emotionally, even in survival mode, and what that can do in terms of crippling you physically. But anyways, LeBron is seeing these situations where, even though you have help at different avenues, that type of help is not prominent for, let's say if there's 10 people and LeBron is one of those 10, he's literally one of one. We can't even guarantee that the half would be able to get that type of help from the next person coming up, right? We not guarantee that that other person's kid would make friends with the coach's son, and the coach would have his eye on corporate America, but also be doing so well within his church pickup league as a coach and rep league around the city, and reputable and foundational, that he would be able to go there. And so Drew Joyce, as his coach, but also a father figure to LeBron, took him in, and in terms of getting them to sleep over, LeBron learns father husband traits and foundational principles from his friend's dad, but he's still in survival mode. Because as we look at it now, and you look at the story of LeBron James, and yes, there's always going to be, when it comes to sports, there's always a superstar kid that is going to be heralded amongst the others. But I don't know if anybody watched more than a game. I've watched that documentary at least over 7 times. And I've learned, the reason why I did that is because I learned different things. I see different things. There's a part of LeBron that he's always been that way. And I'm going to show you the taunt, not necessarily by video, but when he does make sure I get both my hands in the camera. When he puts his hands up to the crowd, when he scores and he's doing that, yeah, give me the praise, give us the praise, come on, bring it on. There's a difference. When we see, Dwayne Wade would get hype, or Michael would get hype. Michael wouldn't even turn to the crowd. The crowd don't even exist with Michael. But when you see LeBron, when you see Dwayne Wade, when you see some of these guys that will taunt to the crowd and say, yeah, get hype. Even KG, Paul Pierce, everybody had a different way that they would do it, right? And you could tell that guys would do it some way and be like, yeah, like, okay, you talking all this trash. You wanted to boo me. You didn't like me. I see you guys in the tabloids. Like, yeah, give us that praise. But there's an aspect when it's give me that praise. And, there's certain things about LeBron that you can see what his mother had to do. I've got to survive. And as a consequence of having LeBron, he's going to survive because I'm focused on surviving. So she's focused on surviving. She's doing the best she can as a single mother with the cards that she's been dealt. However, there's a big proponent that has to be about her, because peradventure, and I'm going to put this in the ethos, and I'm not saying that she said this, but if somebody was to go back in time and go and check her mentality at the time, I'm pretty sure that you would uncover there was something about LeBron's mom that would say, yo, like, he's going to survive because I'm the survivor. I don't survive because of him. I don't live because of him. I'll live for him. And so we got to understand that words have meaning. When we understand that, we would understand that her mindset was one of, I'm going to take whatever you give me, even if you give me the crumbs. I'm going to take that and I'm going to gather all the crumbs I can, put a little bit of water on it, mash it up together, reformat it into some new bread, and I'm going to cook it for all of maybe like 20 minutes to where it can't get too hard, and it's going to taste nice and sweet because there's some cookie crumbs in there, there's some pastry crumbs in there, and I was managed to grab a little bit of sugar from over here, and I made something nice, and my son and me enjoyed it, and it provided some nutrients and a little bit of carbs and hydrate, and and give us all that good sugary, that good feeling. I'm going to take that. And so both are takers, but there's 2 different formats to the way they go about it. One is survival mode, and both are taught to survive. It's just the way they went about it, and the focus on self rather than the focus on excelling self within a group of people or a situation or even a circumstance. Now, dare I say, LeBron's high school tenure looks a lot different than Michael's. Michael was cut from his junior varsity team. And yeah, sugar toast, man, straight goods. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, there was a couple times myself I had to put that marmalade on bread, man. I didn't like that marmalade. I'm sorry, I was bougie like that. Like, you can't bring me no marmalade. Bring marmalade, like, bro, you can't even put that with peanut butter. We're like, what are you talking about? But no, real talk. It was just like, when you see these paths now being carved out, Michael gets cut from his junior varsity team. LeBron is just excelling. Everybody loved LeBron. Michael has to prove himself. Now, his coaches said that, Michael was under height. Okay, bomb. Michael hits a growth spurt during the summer. Plays baseball, but he comes in and he's been working out all summer. Michael comes in and is just killing it. But when you go back to the Last Dance documentary, they talk about Michael, and I've watched this enough time to remember it, but I've also seen Michael Jordan's earlier documentaries. One of them came with a magazine in the late 90s, early 2000s. And there's documentary that was done before Space Jam, and there was another one done after Space Jam. Yeah, that orange peel jam, bro. I hated that. I had it once, And like my mom would try to be like, oh, put some butter and honey with it too. It'll taste good. I was like, yo, don't try to sell me on this, man. I sooner. Nah, that's being facetious, but you know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't my go-to. Just straight goods, bro. It just wasn't my go-to. So Michael comes back and he's just dominating. And Michael now, because of rejection, and you see Michael's mom went and soothed him, but Michael's dad and his brothers were like, yo, dude, what you gonna do? You gonna sit home and cry the whole year? No, Michael went to work. But LeBron was going to work. So they both go to work. LeBron goes through. Now, their path of rejection is different. And I want y'all to see this. Michael got rejected on making the team that he wanted to make and never got cut again. Michael said, I took that pain. Yo, this whole phrase, I took it personal. That was the first time he said it. Man said, I got cut. And I held on to that pain. And I said, nobody will. And Michael said that nobody will ever cut him from any team ever again. Y'all. Yeah, bro. Yo, Paddington the Bear, like, bro, I wasn't buying that. I wasn't buying that from Paddington. Paddington couldn't sell me on marmalade, yo. I don't care, bro. I ain't know. Yo, y'all ladies can choose the bear all you want. I ain't choosing no Bears food. I'm sorry. Anyways, Michael said, yo, I'm not getting cut from no team ever again. Period. Goes to work, starts dominating straight through high school. They win a couple state championships. He moves on to North Carolina. Now, let's go to the other side of the tracks. LeBron James. You know, their team is rocking. They feel like nobody can't touch them. And the team that ended up slapping them in putting the mollywop on them in the AAU circuit is the same team that beat them for their state championship. So one kid got denied making the team and vowed he would hold on to the pain and never be cut again. The next kid didn't have that hardship with making the team because his talent stuck out for him. But when it came to being, because if you go back to those high school tapes and the documentaries, LeBron was the guy on the team. It doesn't matter how much of a team there was. I'm sorry. Salute. We got Mr. Best, Mr. Intellectual Soapbox in the building. He says salute to Stan Joseph. Stan Joseph. He be laughing at my no bear food comment. It's true, bro. My mom couldn't give me no bear food. You know, you ain't gonna give me that. Stan said, what's up, box? Soapbox. What's up? Soapbox. Oh, man. But yeah, LeBron couldn't, even as a high school kid, he was painted as the guy. Couldn't lead his team. And I saw that tape. I don't know why nobody didn't tell you to make the extra pass. Like, you had enough time to make one more pass to get it off of half. I don't know who told you. Like, he's been practicing that shot from time, that little running floater. And I mean, I didn't like it when they beat us in Toronto with it in 2018. I still don't like it now. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I digress. So we see in their childhood, there's elements of the home that teach them how to be men. There's and teach them foundations. Both are taught survival mode aspects. Both are taught to be takers. But dare I say, one is taught to be a taker in a toxic way, and one is taught to be a taker in a wholesome way. Now let's fast forward, because we know LeBron James didn't go to college. So we know what he did in high school. Became the Phenom. I think they won 2 state championships. And I think it was the national title that evaded him for quite a while. Now, with Michael Jordan, he didn't stop winning. Goes on to North Carolina, and immediately James Worthy is one of his boys on his team. James Worthy, and is noted to say this, that Michael, I was better than Michael when Michael showed up for about 2.5 to 3 weeks. Every day Michael was on him wouldn't let him leave the court. Like, you think about running a 2-hour practice. Now let's look at this. I really want you guys to dig into psyche, because we're going to close this off tonight. I really want you guys to dig into psyche, right? Michael said, I'm going to hold on to the pain of being cut from my junior varsity team, and I will never be cut again. Gets to UNC, sees James Worthy. James Worthy's better than him. He's testing James Worthy every day until he gets better than James Worthy. Took him about 3 weeks. His coach, he goes, I can't remember the coach's name, but the coach goes up to him. He says, Michael, what you want to be? He's like, I'm going to be the greatest basketball ever. He's like, and they're going through workouts, and Michael's like, I'm giving it my all. I'm giving it my all. And the coach goes, that's what you call giving it your all? He's like, if you want to be the greatest, you're going to have to come up harder than that. He's like, okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. You see what happened at that moment is Michael got triggered when his coach said, you're great, your best is not good enough. Now, we hear this all the time when in terms of talk, in terms of relationships and stuff. We hear this all the time. Your best is just simply not good enough. Well, I think that's a little unfair, but however, we have to understand coaches, man or woman, and I'm just being fair for the sake of equality, but coaches understand how to navigate and how to galvanize. They know how to extract what is in a person's depth. If anybody watches anime, I'm a big anime fan in terms of Dragon Ball Z. I dabble a little bit with the One Piece. I ain't watched too much One Punch, but definitely Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Daima, Dragon Ball Heroes. That's my hit right there. Okay. The aspect of ascending to the next level, Goku broke through his limits. Michael broke through his limits, but there's always a trigger. There's always something that takes the emotion and pushes this man or these men into greatness. And the men that were watching them weren't willing to accept good. Now, isn't that something? In the words of Kevin Samuels, isn't this rich? That the men of yesteryear that knew people were great would on purpose bump you down and tell you your greatness is just goodness, to see if you can actually get to a level of greatness that even the coach hasn't realized or achieved. But he does it. And the coach said, and you can go look it up. The coach said, Michael turned to him and said, oh, I'm going to show you. And he said, Michael turned it on from that day. Yo, I'm not even gonna lie, yo. This got me feeling some type of way. He said, Michael turned it on and he never turned it off. Now, I don't know about y'all, but right when I start to say, okay, what is the archetype of a man as a fatherless boy? What is the archetype of a man that I should have that can get me from where I am today into my tomorrow and beyond? It is the fact that just because you could regale my greatness to goodness, and I'm still going to show you that what the limit you put on me is not enough. And in fact, I'm going to use the limit as a trigger. And I'm going to prop myself up to be the greatest you ever seen. Michael goes through it, and you know what? They run the isolation play, and y'all remember it. Boom, off of Georgetown, the Hoyas. He hits him with that last shot. They win 2 titles. Michael goes on, I think, for 2 or 3 out of the 4 years that he was in college, National Player of the Year. 2 national titles. He goes on to the Junior Olympics. They slap the men's Olympics team 8-0, 8-0. Go look it up for yourself. Now, it wasn't just Michael. You know, I mean, I'm putting the emphasis on Michael because of the conversation and the topic. And don't worry, I'm coming back to LeBron because I'm giving him some dues. Yeah, he went Super Saiyan mode, Stan. That's exactly it. The man snapped. Could you imagine that? Somebody tell you that you're good and you snap for 4 years. And this is just the start. So now we're coming to about, because remember, Jordan got drafted in 84. So he goes through 75 to, or let's say 76, anywhere from, if it's 76 and he got drafted in 84. So we're talking about total 10 years of schooling. So then from 1970, call it maybe 78, 79, 1979, yes. He was drafted in 84. Now, granted, Michael, you know, I can tell that, you could tell that even as an older man, Michael is like, he was just never like, he didn't understand like the no snitching policy, because this guy went in The Last Dance and just was snitching on everybody. Michael came in and was like, when I came in, you know, I'm still, you know, hey, what's going on? We got QOC in the building. Salute. And we got an announcement coming soon. I just want to let y'all know that we got me, the Real and QOC got an announcement coming soon, and we're gonna get we'll let y'all know what that's about as we get through conclude. So as now Michael's getting drafted and he's going through. Now let's flip to LeBron. LeBron goes through his high school 10 years. They switch because their coach decided to take another gig. You know, these guys are rolling. You know what I mean? Whatever. Drew Joyce Sr. becomes the coach of the St. Mary's team, and you know, they go through their hardships. And I'll be honest, that whole St. Mary's, St. Vincent trip, the only thing that really was, could we say, was a hard knock on LeBron through that time was when he accepted the gift, and I'm not even talking about the Hummer and the phones and all that stuff, and the unwritten, unknown training and signing that Nike gave LeBron behind the scenes. We're going to get into that in a minute. But when you talk about the aspect of, okay, now the mindset of an individual, again, remember what I said earlier, both Michael and LeBron are taught to be takers. They're both taught to be in survival mode, but it's for different points to a different achievement, to a different goal. Michael's father said, and I quote, he needs to understand that just because you're here and we live here, we're middle class and whatnot. Just because you here, because we got here, doesn't mean you actually earn this for yourself. You got to go out and earn it. You got to go out and earn it. You got to fight for it. Just like you fight against your brothers for your spot in the family. You're kind of seen as the runt right now. If you don't want to be seen as the runt, you got to come up some. And this is the thing for the Real platform that everybody's got to understand. And I know those who are close to myself in the platform, they get it. But for you guys who are viewers and listeners on podcasts, and what's this guy going on about? What's Conrad going on about? It's the mindset to be and you got to understand one thing. Number one, you need to check your foundation if what you taught is viable ground and is viable information, viable instruction for you to actually build upon it later. Yes, the Dirty Pleasure Show. What's going on, my G's? And if that's Jay in the background behind it, Jay, what's going on? Some beautiful people in the building tonight. With the aspect of what you're being taught as men and women, as young men and women, and how you're going to go about life, you have to understand you've got a gut check, because you only have a finite amount of time, right? And who am I talking to? I'm specifically talking to the 13 to 18 crowd right through here in this part here. You got to check what's being told to you. And it doesn't mean that you be rude. No, you have to understand to properly dissect information and knowledge and instruction that's being told to you to see if it's viable long-term or short-term, you can't do too much talking. You can't do too much rebuttaling. If you're always rebuttaling, it means you're not learning. And now this becomes an argument, and guess who becomes the fool? So you got to place yourself in a position where you are able to actually get to a place. Okay, yeah, they in the building showing love. Blessings. You got to be able to get to a place where you can understand what's being told to you. Long story short. And as we said in many episodes prior, if you're a visionary, you got to play like, you got to move like this is a chessboard. And so anybody who thinks that LeBron wasn't taught to move like a chessboard, you're sadly mistaken. But he still has a taker's mentality. And the problem with that is as he gets into the NBA, everything from his nickname to his mannerisms and to how he carries on at 40 when certain things go wrong, it's a taker's mentality. It's a weak mentality. Right? How do we know this? Because only a taker would think at 40 that it's good to stomp and yell at people, even though it's your job. They're like, yo, you get the emotions, you get the theatrics and all that stuff. That's good. But only a true taker. And if y'all can find the video of him stomping on the court and jumping up and down, it's like, dude, like you're 6'8", 6'9", 265 pounds, bro. Like you're a borderline wrestler. Could you chill out? Could you calm down just a little bit? At least do the Michael. Just throw the hands out at them. You want to raise your voice? Okay, go ahead. You get a technical, but don't be like, don't not want to get the technical, but you want to yell at everybody and run in every 50 different directions. Like, bro, like, come on, man. But that's LeBron. That's what he does. Michael had his way of doing it. He would walk up the side of the track, the court with the refs, and you know, he's flailing his hands and he's like, you know, you got it. That's a dumb move. And he would get mad and point in their face, and it is what it is. Yeah, he'd be flailing around. That's exactly it. And it's annoying, but it represents the mindset of how he's taught. And don't worry, we gonna land. We right on course with this. Okay, so let's back up to Michael. 84, gets drafted, breaks in the league. His team is nothing. Well, not nothing. They're obviously talented because they're in the NBA. But literally, Michael walks in, and as he says it in the documentary, you know, you got your weed smokers over there. You got your users over there, you got your pushers over there, et cetera, whatever. Every man's got his vice. He says, I wasn't about none of that. So, you know, he go back to his room because he don't want to be caught up in none of that. We got 3 for Jordan. I think the whole chat's Jordan right now. Mike would chew gum. Mike would want to dunk on the ref for sure. Mike would want to try to dunk on the ref. So now we sit here and we have it. Mike comes in 84. The team is garbage, you know, and he picks up from where he left off in college. Y'all might be good enough to get to the NBA, but I'm trying to be great. Hurts his ankle. Well, breaks it, goes up for a dunk, lands on it wrong, basically breaks, cracks, has a fracture, which it could lead to, because in the part of the foot in the overhaul that he broke it in, that did the blood circulation. Like my wife had a fractured part of her foot down by her toe, and I'm glad they didn't have to re-break it just to get it to heal or set in properly. So, but again, it's just that blood flow, it's not there. So they put Michael on a minutes restriction. This is 84. So if anybody remembers the between the legs back up to that side step to that jump shot over the Celtics, same year. And we're just gonna say for the sake of Michael's junior and sophomore campaign, rookie and junior and sophomores, he takes off. He goes from being Mike Jordan to being Michael Jordan to being Air Jordan to being Mr. Jordan. within his first 2.5 years, and is ultimately heralded, without winning a championship, the greatest basketball player on the face of the earth at that time. Now, the same has been said for LeBron James, right? Ultimately, I had, as a young fan in 2003, just moving out and kind of just finishing high school on my own, like, you know, pickup ball, finishing high school, my game was kind of similar. I love to come barrel down the court and, you know, take off and, you know, dunk on somebody. Nobody, anybody, a shadow, a piece of lint, anybody could catch it, right? And, you know, it was fun because I was able to garner certain fame from that. But for LeBron, now, this is the difference between him and Mike, and I want everybody in the chat to hear this. When LeBron was coming into the league, his whole team didn't like him. Carlos Boozer, oh, you're not just going to pick on a high school kid and dump him in the pros and then see him lead a team. Oh, we got guys who play at his position. And it doesn't matter how they said it. They said what they said. And let that be a lesson to anybody, and especially as we as adults. Let's remember this. Just because there's a context to what we said doesn't mean everybody has to understand our context. So we have to let our yay be yay and our nay be nay. Especially for us men. If we don't go to the strip club, if we don't do certain things, we got to stay on that. If Rush was here, he would say, yeah, living the sucker-free lifestyle. Okay. So we don't do certain things. You're not going to find us in certain places where certain things are going on. And that's just the way it's got to be. Because we're men of our word. LeBron's coming in and he takes off. Gets his $99 million rookie Nike contract. His rookie contract, it is what it is. We all know what the record is. But let's bring this full context now. 2016, LeBron wins the ring. They beat the herald greatest team of all time, the Golden State Warriors. Comparable to Michael, at 33, Michael was on championship number 3, was on, I believe, retirement number 1 at that point. And at this point, there is levels of controversy. LeBron's controversy is self-induced because he says that one there made me the greatest. Okay, if you believe that. Michael's controversy digs a little deeper because Michael was so trusting of his environment, and this is where you could say Michael may have been feeling himself a little too much to think that the same way people feared him on the court is the same way people would fear him off the court. So they're not going to dare put any questionable characters, and nobody who's questionable would be putting themselves around him. The problem is Michael's vices of gambling put himself around certain questionable characters, and it came out in court. Michael tried to get away from it, tried to lie his way through it, and ended up showing him through his. So here's when we talk about the greatness, we have to relegate these guys to their sport. Why? Because within the context of being probably the greatest archetype of a man, they have both shown flaws. And not flaws that any of us are perfect, that would say we haven't made before. We've all made these kind of mistakes at some point in some fashion, where we've lied to get away from something and still had to come back and face the thing that we were getting away from. So to understand, if you are going to be great at anything, you've got to mitigate risk. You've got to understand the instructions that are being able to give you. To Michael's credit, you have to be able to, QOC said, separate the man from the career. 100%. Well, we have to do that, right? Because if we're going to understand the aspect of how it's marketed that these men are the greatest, we have to understand that they're just literally marketing their on-court abilities. The media actually does not care what LeBron and what Michael went through mentally or psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, and physically. And so for us as a generation, both men and women, if we if we are going to get to a place where we understand how to ignite greatness within us, it's going to start from our foundation. It's going to start from what we feed ourselves. It's also going to contribute or be further stoked by what we allow others to feed into us. It's also going to have to be very imperative that we take note of our vices. We say it on this channel all the time that we cannot afford to lose when we should be winning. And there must come a point where if you've lost socially, financially, emotionally, whatever it is, that you get to a point with yourself, not with anybody else. You wake up in the mirror. It doesn't matter if you have to look at the mirror and cry and be sad about it, go to bed mad, go to the gym, punch a punching bag, lift weights, run, just sit there and scream your head off and then come back to yourself. Whatever you have to do to get to the place where you say, I'm sick and tired of my own vices. You've got to do that, because for every day you don't do that, your greatness is impaired. And we can say, and it has been said, that Michael Jordan and the Bulls could have won 8 championships had he not had the two retirements. Most importantly, it was said that if Michael had took care of his body almost to the degree of a LeBron James, who knows what Michael could have done. Michael could have probably been playing to this day. Who knows? I highly doubt that, but who knows? The fact of the matter is there's a space and time when, and this is why I wanted to bring this up within this GOAT conversation, because we talk about it from the aspect of their career and what they've done on the court, and we're getting back to that, because there's another lesson from that side of that. And I hope somebody speaks to Angel Reese and lets her know that that next part includes her too. Michael, and I believe this, I believe the NBA, based on his father dying, passing away, sorry YouTube, based on Michael's father passing away and Michael Jordan's gambling debt, I believe that, and if we understand Chicago, New York, LA, when you go back, and I'm big on documentaries, so if you go back around at these times, the streets and celebrities weren't vastly separated. There wasn't 10,000 miles behind them in the 80s and the 90s. Especially if you've done your research in the States or you come from certain areas in the States. So all my American family, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm up to correction. But based on my research and my documentaries that I've reviewed, there's not a sports figure that was vastly separated from the streets in terms of business interactions, and gambling is that business interaction. And so Sam Bowie gets into trouble, drags in Michael. Michael go take a year off, play some baseball. Now, could two things be true at the same time? 100%. It could be very well true that Michael wanted to honor his father, play baseball, do something different, get away from the toxicity, but at the same time, he also needed to hide. And I think I said this to somebody today, that one of my favorite quotes is out of the Ninja Turtles 2. This movie came out in what I think it was like 91 or something around there. And I've never forgot this line since. There's scientists that are talking about a spill, radioactive spill. And when this radioactive spill, the scientist's right-hand man says, Doc, what are we going to do if this was to ever fall into the hands of the media? We could be under serious investigation. The head scientist with the coolest, I'll probably say the most MJ swag you could possibly muster up, he goes, sometimes the best place to hide is right out in public. Isn't that contradictory, contrasting, funny conundrum all at the same time? that you could be in the midst of peril, in your own trouble, and your trouble is one step away from being complete public news. And so to mitigate risk and clean up your damage, you don't run into a cubbyhole, but you hide in public. So what did that phrase mean at that time, according to the movie? It meant that you show up and you say, hey, we're about rebuilding the community and we're going to do our best to detoxify the area because we don't like what has happened to our neighborhood. It is the perfect PR sentence for the context of the movie. Now, for the context of Michael Jordan, what do? You go into baseball and you work harder than ever. It is heralded that Michael Jordan, while playing baseball, minor league baseball, and getting called up to the Chicago White Sox, that his batting average was better than a good portion of Major League Baseball players that have never played any other sport other than that. Again, even if you are in the midst of your own mess, you have a choice on whether you can sit and die. Pardon me. You can sit and die in that mess, or you can rise above that mess and be great. Now, I'm going to say this, and then we're going to peer over to this GOAT talk. Both men and women, especially black men and women, we are going to have to rise beyond the mess of failed relationships, failed community, broken fathers, absentee fathers, single mothers. We're going to have to rise above it all. And we're going to have to be willing to leave it behind. There's always going to be a mess, and there's always going to be a message out of the mess. Whether the person that started the mess or not gets to deliver it is a total different story. But we're going to have to come out of this. And for those in the chat, for those that will listen to this podcast later, I want you to understand that you have an unwritten responsibility that somewhere in this earth, somebody is depending on you to be great, according to the greatness that's been already written in you. You owe it to yourself not to be mediocre. You owe it to yourself to take all your fears, all your hurt, all your trauma, all your demons, and put it and use it as proverbial coals to the fire and ignite something within yourself that has not been done, whether it's in your family, in your community, in your political ward. I don't care how far you have to go, but as Nike would say, do it. You have enough motivation. There's enough failures. There's enough setbacks. There's enough people crying in society. There's enough. Where's the next help going to come from? Where's the next leader going to come from? We need women to set the standard for younger women. We need men to set the standard for younger men. We need young men to get up and be the standard. We need young women who say, we're not going to sit there and follow what everybody else wants to do just because they can make a buck, and they're saying make the buck the way I make the buck. No, there's something in me that lets me know that I've got to walk differently from you, so I can take the best parts of you and learn from it and add it into who I am and step out and go and do it. Yes, QOC, step out on faith and God will do the rest. Exactly. I don't have to live 100 days at a time. I have to live one day at a time. And as we live one day at a time, guess what the great thing about it is? We have to rest. We get 24 hours and we're sleeping for 8 of those. So for the remaining hours, how are we going to split that up to be great, not just good? And I don't want this to make it seem like it's you're cowering down or you're bowing to my form or somebody else's form of what greatness means. No, you have a rare opportunity in time, and it doesn't matter where you are, because really and truly, you have a rare opportunity in time to be great right now. And guess who gets to set the terms of that greatness? You do. I was saying to my wife earlier, and I was saying, she's like asking me if I was ready for tonight's show, and I was like, I feel kind of weird because there's so many things happening in the background, and there's so many different connections being made, and there's so much different people that I'm meeting that are becoming family and friends, and they're encouraging, and I'm encouraging them, and they're encouraging me, and we're encouraging each other together. And I really feel that we're all about to do something that has not been seen since Black Wall Street, and I want to continue to push everybody's mind towards that, because here's one thing we've got to realize: greatness takes pain. Okay? Greatness takes pain. Greatness takes pain. It may take people talking about you. It may take people turning their back on you. It may take people not believing in you. It may take people to tell you that you're dumb to dream the way you do, or talk the way you talk, or walk the way you walk. It doesn't matter. Take it. Don't use it to hurt yourself. Take it and use that as a coal and put it in the fire and let it be your fuel. We can worry about whatever type of fossil fuels is being burnt from this afterwards. But for right now, can we use this pain and get up? You know how much women could have been the greatest mothers, the greatest wife, the greatest girlfriend. Well, I'm not going to promote girlfriend lifestyle. I'll tell you the truth. But the greatest wife, the greatest mother, the greatest woman ever. Forget a mother. Let's just focus on the individual, the greatest man, the greatest CEO, the greatest businessman, the greatest businesswoman. Do we know how much people could have been the greatest, but they got stuck in the vice of hurt? Now, let's peer over to LeBron James. They win in 2016. He's still, for some reason, not able to get off the back that, I feel like this one made me the greatest, and still he's no closer to being the GOAT over Michael Jordan at that point than he is today. Why? Because you see, here's the thing about greatness. You can't actually spend so much time lauding over yourself. You've got to give people space and time to do the praising on you while you stay focused. And I'm not saying that it's blinders to the point where you're arrogant. No, what I'm saying is you got to get to that place where you are able to acknowledge, thank you for the praise. Thank you for the admiration. It feels good. Take that and remind yourself, I'm working hard, and with equal effort comes an equal amount of praise, but it also comes with an equal amount of critique. And all of these components are necessary to push you forward. You see, the thing is when LeBron James, and I sincerely believe in 2016, when LeBron James cut that interview with the guys in the barbershop and said that one there made me the greatest, I feel like that made me the greatest. I don't know about y'all, but he took a step back in terms of hunger. The thing is about being great at any one thing is you have to do it as if it has not been accomplished yet. And so when it comes to Michael and LeBron, and this is where I will, if anybody hasn't figured it out by now, I'll just say it. My GOAT is Michael Jordan. Because there's a way, even to the madness that he would think in his own mind, there's a way he went about being great, where he acknowledged that greatness can only be synonymous within the context that it's being discussed, in the time that it's being discussed. And my greatness might not be transferable into an era that is behind me or an era that is ahead of me. But when we take eras and we mesh them together to start to compare, well, then we do each person and their individual greatness a disservice, because we then do not acknowledge the factors that are necessary to make them great. Now, without shade, I will say LeBron James has single-handedly had the greatest basketball career or athletic career ever. Young father, marries high school sweetheart. For what we know, allegedly has never cheated. No scandal in his family. No scandal from him, short of maybe the Balco, but again, that's allegedly. Right? So, for what we know, there's been nothing against LeBron James. Is he the greatest of all time? No. Could basketball have gotten to where it is now without him? Well, let's discuss that. What did LeBron James do for basketball? He taught players that you can take your own power and your own destiny into your hand. What's that word again? Take. You take her. And dare I say, LeBron James is the greatest taker in the history of basketball. To take the best of every person, all-star that you're faced with, to help prop yourself up. As Stan said back in the comments earlier tonight, Michael was able to build great teams. LeBron just built himself. MJ built a team. LeBron built himself. There's a case to be made out of that. Salute to you, Stan. There is something to be said about how we go about greatness. And this is what makes Michael Jordan the GOAT. And I'll end it here because we've been an hour and 30 minutes and I'll get into these closing arguments and statements as to what y'all can expect next. Stan said, when you say MJ, you think of all the teammates. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. Well, first, yeah, that is true. Because when you say MJ, you think Chicago Bulls, and that's from front office right down. Everybody played their part. And Michael didn't overstep, from what we know, Michael didn't overstep in an abundance to stop Jerry Reinsdorf from I'm pretty sure I butchered his name, from doing his job. Jerry Krause, Phil Jackson, Dennis, Scotty, etc., Steve Kerr. They butted heads, and it's out there, and we know, but he didn't stop them from doing their job to be equally as great as they are and were. Michael, this is the reason why, for your young folks who don't understand why Michael will forever be the greatest over LeBron James. Unless for some reason he goes and wins finals MVP in 2 championships, 1 championships and finals MVP this season, and a finals and an MVP of the season, and an MVP of the final regular and playoffs in the postseason next season. That's what LeBron would have to do to even have a chance right now. So let me put it out there again. He'd have to win a championship this season, be finals MVP, which probably won't happen because he's got Luka. Then he'd have to win a championship next season, be the season MVP at 41, and be finals MVP, and probably finish top 2 all defensive. Now, he won't finish top 2 all defensive, which means he'd have to finish assist leader, something other than that. Or for some dumb reason have a scoring title, and that's stupid because then that would make Luka obsolete. But anyways, I digress. Michael. And if anybody goes back to the video on our Instagram that we put together, it wasn't just Michael Jordan's name. It's the way he played basketball. It's the way he trained. It's the way he flew in the air. The way he would dunk, the grace that he moved with, the articulation that he moved with, the mindset that he moved with, the ferocity he moved with. Think about this. Even his ferocity had grace to it. The marketing, the shoes, the commercial, the way he showed up in a suit all the time. He was never the most hip guy or the coolest guy in terms of how he used to rock his gear. You know, he didn't have a LL Cool J one leg up, one leg down. You know what I mean? That wasn't him. But he was still the coolest. He had everybody wearing rocking a Kangol hat backwards. Everybody wanted to have Michael Jordan cologne. Everybody wanted to have Michael Jordan wife beaters and Michael Jordan boxers. Yeah, you can sit there and lie to yourself. I wanted it. I was a teenager. I was a young kid at that time. I was like, yo, my mom was like, yo, we don't got that kind of money. I was like, nah, yes, we do. We got it. Don't worry. Please go get it. It's the way he did it. LeBron James is not synonymous with making basketball a worldwide thing. Sorry, guys, I just had a chip out there. So, yeah. So we got to understand that there's levels to this. There's levels to everything we do. There's definitely levels to everything that we do. Yeah, man. It is what it is. Like, had to get the Shaqs. So at the end of the day, in everything that we do, we must acknowledge and realize, therefore, that there's a way to going about everything. And for LeBron James and the debate between him and Michael on who's the GOAT, you got to understand it is, unfortunately, not the same. It is what it is. And it'll forever be that way. Yo, I just realized something. Guys, hold on a second. Okay. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, everybody. Folks don't know how real it was in the 90s. You see, the thing is like with the 90s, see, there it is again. Yo, let me know if y'all can see me. Okay. Yeah, it should be back up now. Okay, perfect. Technical difficulties, nothing there. Let me know if I'm back so we can just wrap this up. That was weird. I don't understand what just happened there. Okay, slight intermission, folks. Okay, cool. All right, let's wrap this up before any more craziness happens. Anyways, yeah, there's a difference between what they did, okay? Truthfully speaking. And for anybody to acknowledge anything less than that, I would really have to say that you got some wires crossed. Okay. And that's not a disrespectful manner, none at all. It's just you got to understand that there's a difference to how they both did it, and Michael pushed the envelope ahead, right? And so my ultimate case for Michael is mindset, execution, determination, focus, despite his vices. Whether or not Michael and LeBron had the greater competition than Michael, I definitely can't say that he did, because Michael was playing in a time when you could literally clothesline people out the air. So yeah, we're just gonna chill on all that. Okay, we're gonna chill on all that. As we get ready to close, it's an hour and 41 minutes. And shout out to QOC and Jay for coming through. Definitely, it was nice seeing y'all in the building. The Dirty Pleasure Show. We thank y'all for being in the building tonight. Tomorrow, everybody, there should be prayer, and probably gonna post something a little bit later. I believe that I will be being interviewed, and we're gonna be doing an interview on another platform with my sister Brittany, and we're gonna be talking about mental health. And so that's definitely going to be a good time. Definitely, as you go forward, definitely check out the post that will be put up on Instagram not too long from now. And as we go through, it's definitely going to be a good time. I definitely am making sure that based on the vision that God has given me and the team over here on the Real podcast, that we are forward to accomplish what we have to, and to make the connections. All of y'all is family. I love you all. With that said, there's a track. Anyways, y'all see the ad go out about it. There's going to be 3 announcements for the first week of April. There will not be a live stream. On one hand, I'm taking that week off, and I'll be getting around to every one of my families, my peoples. There's some planning going on behind the background, some different things that we got to get caught up with here on StreamYard. And for those who do live stream, check your StreamYard and get used to using the new platforms. Even I'm looking at mine, and there's another new addition even within the last little bit. So definitely let's all make sure that we are let's all make sure that for the content creators, that we're kind of sifting into our individual StreamYard accounts, taking the time to go through them, to master them for better output as we move forward. And so yeah, definitely, you guys, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Yeah, there's a new addition. So there's, aside from the scenes, which used to at one point only used to be in what you call OBS, or even I think StreamYard has some new additions and some new different things that they're adding in to make them more competitive. They're definitely the most expensive for kind of their mid-tier account, but it's worth it, especially if you plan to do things long-term and collaborations, just working in general. So it's necessary. But yeah, there's been a couple of new additions and new things that they've put in here it's starting to look a lot better. I definitely say that still need to work on the price, because this mid-tier going from $20 to $66, it's kind of mad. Still, just saying. So yeah, StreamYard, figure it out. Like, I get it, but figure it out. So yeah, definitely everybody do that. What else? We're back up on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music for MP3 format listening, and those platforms will be playing catch up to where we are on these episodes. Same thing with Rumble, Twitch, Locals. And if you can't find us, again, you know where to find us on all platforms. And let's do the countdown. Threads, TikTok, Twitter, also known as X, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube. Did I say Twitch already? I'm pretty sure I said Twitch. If I didn't say Twitch, Locals, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, at areReal _SCE. That is DAREAL _SCE. Definitely like, share, subscribe. And yeah, if you are content creators, definitely we will do the same thing back. With that said, for some new things that are in the works, be prepared for the announcement. Next week, again, like I said, won't be any live streaming going on. We will be posting one of the first original interviews that we did with Trey Arts, a Toronto artist. And he great story, great podcast. We actually used to be roommates, and coming full circle, we didn't know that we would be connecting through the pandemic, but we were able to connect based on some genuine circumstances that were surprising. And so for the first time ever, yeah, man, you see, yeah, bro, yeah, bro, got that with my Motorsport 4s, and had to put it on the mic, let people know I'm on the mic trying to be the greatest. Pause for that on the mic part. but yeah, and so yeah, we've got some new things coming. You guys will see that interview post next week, and there will be a video that as we start to get into the short form content. Be sure to go to our other channel. That's the Real Podcast Clips. Same thing. You can find us at areReal _clips. So that's at DAREALREEL _clips. CLIPS. Look it up. Follow, subscribe, share it with your peoples, and let's get something good going over there as well. Now, there's actually two major endeavors, and for all my people that like wrestling, I mean, you with that WWE, that wrestling, I'm a wrestling fan too, always been, in case y'all didn't know, right? In case y'all didn't know. Oh, I gotta make sure I don't break nothing around here. Let me just, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just know. Okay. You guys see the championship? Yeah, you guys see the championship. Your boy is a world championship. Your boy is a world champion. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Now, this is a very bootleg championship version. I don't really like this the greatest. We're going to upgrade this. But just to let you know, your boy is a wrestling fan. So we've got a new endeavor with some good family on the way. And as of next week, there will be a post about that. And again, I would love for y'all to support and, make the move with us as we move. And everything we're doing here, my mic's a little low. Everything we're doing here is to support, in support of our peoples. And so definitely make sure that you're around. Again, for anybody who follows me on my personal platforms, Conrad Shand, on Facebook and Instagram, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be on there much. I don't use them much because I'm so heavy onto the business side of what's going on and connecting with people. And of course, Stan, Y'all, you know I'm gonna clip this later, eh? I gotta send this to the new platform. I'm gonna clip this. When I go back, I'm clipping this right here. WWE needs some good storylines moving forward. Yeah, there's a lot of rumblings that says WrestleMania is not gonna be as hype as it was once supposed to be heralded to be. Oh yeah, well Triple H needs to get other writers in there. TNA just fired Gail Kim, so maybe they can bring her over to talk to deal with the women's division. And maybe they can send some of their lackluster to TNA and let them grow up a bit. I mean, that's what I would do. We have a contract partnership with them, send them to TNA. But as you guys can hear, I do know a little bit about a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of talk about GOAT Talk. I was one of one, whether I expected it to be this way or not tonight, but it is what it is. I'm completely fine with that. And I have my family in the building supporting, and we good. So we're going to be out for tonight. Thank you all for rocking with us. 2 hours. This is QOC and QOC and the QOC family. I should say that QOC family and Jay from the Dirty Talk Show. We definitely they're probably going to be rinsing me about this later. They're like, I don't know how you do it. But yeah, bro, I'm just being the think chamber so much every day that this is what it is. I really thank y'all for being here tonight. It made the world a difference. Tomorrow night, if everybody's seeing this, we're gonna be, God's willing, as I'm chilling out with the family, we're gonna be doing a prayer tomorrow night. I was going to be somewhere else, which would have either had to see me move prayer up or move it down to 11 p.m. But I realized that that's not really fair to y'all. So we will be here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time for prayer. I will post the link. I'll post it in the day or tomorrow or probably later tonight. And so we can all send in our requests, have a good time in prayer. If you feel that you need prayer, come. Or just open the link as you're moving about your day. If you feel somebody else needs prayer, you want to put in a request for them, don't hesitate to put it out in the chat. You don't have to put names. It's completely fine. Everybody I told you guys, I'm very sensitive to these prayer requests, and I want to make sure I'm doing right by everybody to not overload them or to not put out sensitive information or names or anything like that. So definitely send the link definitely click it in. If you want somebody to join in, I have no issues with that. They don't even have to subscribe to the platform. We'll send them the link and just have them to join in, and we'll open up a prayer as we move forward. Look out, Father, we want to thank you for this show. We want to thank you for this tonight, and we thank you for everything that you've led us through, understanding the ins and outs of greatness, even kind of just touching surface level, what it means to be great, and some things that we got to watch out for. Lord, we pray that you would help us to be great in everything that we set our hands to do and set our mind to do, to be great fathers, great husbands, great mentors, great friends, great brothers, great sisters, great examples in our communities wherever we are across the world. Lord, as we get ready to close for tonight, we want to thank you. I thank you for my family, an extension. I might not know everybody by name and by creed. I might not have met everybody in person, but I love all of these supporters. I love all of these family. And Lord, I pray a special blessing upon their life, peace, love, and harmony. In Jesus' name, amen. Everybody, have a good night. It's Stan. Have a good morning. I'm in the backside. I'm in the back end. So you can hit me up on Instagram. Anybody who else wants to talk, I'm here tonight. I'm just chilling out for the rest of the night. Hit me up on the Instagram. I love you all. Peace. Salute. Much love to you. Kiss your dog, your cat, whatever you got. And next week, I will put up an individual one hitter quitter segment. I don't know if I'll pre-record it live, but y'all see some stuff pop up this week. Y'all will see some stuff pop up this week. Blessings to you all. Salute. Much love. Your boy